I wasn't snooping. It's just that I powered up an old phone, trying to remember whose it was. I opened Messenger and there it was. Flirtatious messages. Plans to meet. I travel for work a few days each month. They use that time. I'm in Europe. No fault laws, but I still want to know everything. Someone in another sub suggested this for the confrontation. It's a way to get the grimy details, but I don't know what laws I might be breaking surveilling her beforehand. 20 years of marriage in the toilet. At least we don't have kids. Though, I'm gutted. Divorce is so fucking messy here. It takes 5 years. I've ordered a voice-activated recorder to place in her car. I'll try to access her current phone to see text messages and maybe get a phone number. Solicitor appointment for Friday arranged. Correction, it's 3 years to divorce here. Rules changed in 2019. You can't apply until 2 years of separation and then the process takes time. So much has happened this week. Where to start? I have his name. His real one. I found more messages in WhatsApp, where his real phone number and name is. It's a former colleague of mine who I haven't seen or heard from in at least 5 years and who I barely had any interactions with when we were working for the same company. He lives nearby. I don't know how she even knows him. It's possible they met briefly at a company Christmas party, but my wife attended very few of them. I've gone through the messenger messages more thoroughly, too, to see what I can find out. It's the most difficult thing I've ever had to read in my life. It's like she's a totally different person with him. Her expectation with me is that I am romantic, that I don't use vulgar terms to refer to body parts, we make love and express our emotional attachment in anything we do physically. This guy just tells her what he's going to do with her in blatant crass terms and she responds positively. In the messages they both use language that she would get upset with me for using. I don't get any sense of there being much emotional attachment between them, but he sure gets her motor running and it makes me sick. Yesterday, during work hours, I witnessed a live conversation on WhatsApp. He tried to do a video call with her during this, but I was able to red button the call each time he tried. The oldest messages are 3 years old, but they don't start with introductions, so that wasn't the beginning of the relationship. I met with a solicitor. He has started the paperwork to initiate a separation agreement. Advised me not to move any money around and to stay in the house and not move out for now. He said there are huge legal gray areas with my plans for hidden recording devices. For me that only changes my plan to reveal any evidence to her. I think the whole infidelity baseball approach could still work without revealing the sources of information. I'll just show up with a journal listing the facts of everything I know. Still waiting for that VR to arrive. I've also ordered a cam that looks like a Bluetooth speaker. Sorry, I forgot to add a kind of important detail. When I knew the AP, he was married. I don't know if he still is. I'm leaning towards getting a PI for legal surveillance I can share with his wife. I talked to one during the week. It's not megabucks. Might be well worth it for my next trip, which is in less than 2 weeks' time. This seems to be moving at lightning speed. First, I want to thank this community for being so supportive in what has been a very difficult time. It's really helping to help me maintain clarity. There is also a minority of trolls out there with a 12-years-old understanding of human relationships informed by Pornhub and Andrew Tate. They will never understand the dynamics of this relationship, or the affair, because neither fit the narrative they've been fed. All I have to say to them is it's pretty psychotic to want to kick someone while they're down. But you've not achieved what you set out to do here and I hope you get help. You know who you are. So here is my progress since the last update. I have secured a PI who has already been able to confirm for me that the AP is still married to the same person. They also know his address. I knew he lived locally, but didn't know exactly where exactly. I haven't asked them to provide it to me because I'd rather not know. That's just a recipe for doing something stupid in a moment of weakness. The PI will provide the evidence they gather to the AP's wife on my behalf. I don't have to be directly involved. I'm flying out Monday morning and returning Wednesday. The AP plans to meet my cheating wife at my house for various short visits that won't alert his wife. Like, he'll go out for a run, so he can get away with being away for an hour or more while he's really visiting my wife. Various excuses like that. But he is also planning to stay overnight Tuesday. I don't know what excuse he has fed his wife for that one. Maybe a fake business trip, maybe he has a friend who covers for him. I don't know. The important thing is the PI should be able to get some juicy evidence of him coming and going after telling his wife he'd be somewhere else. I have my voice-activated recorder, which I've put in our fireplace. We don't use the fireplace and she will never look there. I was originally thinking of the car, but it's picking up everything said in the sitting room with great clarity from the fireplace. It will also catch my conversations with her in that room. I also have a camera that looks like a Bluetooth speaker. It will be strategically placed in the bedroom. Not everything has gone to plan since my last update. I've been keeping her away from me by working constantly, but that only works for so long. We normally have an active sex life. Usually at least 3 times/week. There's only so long I can use the excuse of work and stress to keep her away. She started crawling into bed with me in the middle of the night while I was sleeping in the spare bedroom and initiating. I had to reciprocate or she'd know there was something wrong. I felt bad about it, sending mixed signals, but then I just remembered what she's doing. It's probably going to happen again before my trip next week. I've decided I'm not moving out. I have no family in Ireland and there is nobody I could impose on. I will have to throw her out. One more thing. Over the weekend I intercepted an incoming video call from the AP on WhatsApp, using her old phone. So now I've seen his dick. It's really not that impressive. I spoke with my solicitor again today and now have a draft separation agreement outlining how we'll handle the split finances, the house, etc. It's a voluntary contract, not required for divorce, but it helps manage the process. It states she must move out within 14 days. I'd prefer sooner, but my solicitor advised being reasonable to ensure she signs. I'll stay in the house, continue paying the mortgage, and recoup additional contributions when it's sold. As I've mentioned previously, in Ireland, I can't file until we've been separated for 2 of the last 3 years. No dramatic, serving of papers, moment, just the option to serve her or send registered mail after 2 years. I mistakenly referred to this separation period as legal separation in some comments, but that's an entirely different process that doesn't end in divorce, I assume, for religious reasons. Some asked if I could file elsewhere, like Australia. I assumed I had to file in Ireland, but that's not the case. If needed, I could move and file there, though I prefer staying in Ireland, where I've built my life and career. If she refuses to sign or move out, I'll book the next flight to Australia, stay with family, secure a faster divorce, and leave her to handle the mortgage. A short notice flight will be costly, but I can justify using joint funds if she leaves me without housing, maybe even fly business class. Bottom line, she signs and moves out, or I move across the world and get divorced even faster. If she wants to drag things out, her best bet is to sign and go. As for the confrontation strategy, some of you have been pointing me to the no-contact approach. Basically, to ghost her. I love it. It leaves the cheating spouse ruminating about what you know about them. It is a kind of psychological torture she imposes on herself. But that only works if you can just pack up and leave. I need her to leave and there has to be a confrontation for me to convince her to go. I also think no contact is a blunt instrument to achieve those ends. I don't have to reveal to her anything about what I am thinking or feeling. I intend to be a stone wall demanding information from her, but I don't have to provide anything in return. The infidelity baseball approach isn't a perfect match either. Much of the evidence I have is illegally obtained, so I can't share it with her. Nor do I want to. But I can still tell her when I know she is lying during the process. I just won't tell her how I know. I think that will still work. I'm not going to share the legally obtained evidence with her either, but it will go to the AP's wife. The PI will be watching the house while I'm gone. The AP is staying over Tuesday night, but I also want to catch him coming and going at other times so I can show his wife multiple instances of him being at my house after telling her he was somewhere else. Wednesday I have the day off and the wife won't be home during the day. So I have time to get docs from the PI, review the audio and pack her a suitcase. My next update, unless something goes drastically wrong in the meantime, will be live posting events of the marital bedroom from my hotel room in England on Tuesday night. The confrontation will be Wednesday evening. It's D-Day. The AP is staying over tonight. I have a bedroom camera, a voice-activated recorder, VAR, in the sitting room, and a PI watching the house. I'm in a UK hotel for work, my first trip since discovering the affair and my wife's first chance to meet with the AP since then. Yesterday, the VR picked up our doorbell at 6:30 p.m., followed by my wife and a male voice. I couldn't make out much due to the TV and they didn't enter the sitting room or bedroom. I suspect they were in the kitchen. Stayed for about 30 minutes before he left. My wife then spent the evening alone watching TV and went to bed at 11 p.m. This morning, she acted as usual before leaving for work. Now, I wait. As tempting as it is, I won't drink, I need a clear head. This won't be pleasant, but I'm prepared. I've had time to think, though sleep deprivation hasn't helped. Do I really want to see what I'm about to see? Many say no, but I believe facing the full extent of the betrayal will help with closure and prevent years of speculation and rumination. I believe people often take cheaters back because they don't grasp the full reality. It's easier to forgive the abstract concept of cheating than a series of concrete, repeated betrayal events. If my wife asks for forgiveness, I'll have a crystal clear picture of what she's asking me to forgive. It will appear in graphic detail in my mind. I'll also get insight into their dynamic, seeing firsthand how they interact. It won't be easy, but it's necessary. Tomorrow's confrontation will be a mix of ghosting and infidelity baseball. I can't vanish completely since I need her to be the one who leaves, but I'll remain emotionally detached, refusing to share my thoughts or feelings. I'm hoping that has the same effect. I'll interrogate her with a mix of known and unknown questions. Each confirmed lie is a strike. 3 strikes, and I'm gone for good. Part of the reason for tonight is to gather more details so I have more answers I can use to catch her out lying. If she refuses to leave or sign the separation agreement, I am prepared to leave the country for good. I'm ending this no matter what, but she doesn't know that. Tonight, I expect to learn if they use protection, if she does things with him she has always denied me, and much more I can't even anticipate. Updates to come. 6:05 p.m., she is home. The VR picked her up arriving. The sound of the front door closing. 6:30 p.m., I haven't seen nor heard anything since she got home. It wouldn't be unusual for her not to be in the sitting room or bedroom at this time. She's probably in the kitchen. I have her old phone with me. I'll try connecting it to the hotel Wi-Fi and see if there are more messages since I last checked it on Sunday. 6:45 p.m., yeah, there are messages. They're a bit hit and miss because I don't get any of her regular text messages, only those sent through messaging apps like WhatsApp or Messenger. She's making him lasagna, maybe they'll choke on it. In any case, she will be in the kitchen. He's running late, and expects to be there for 7:30 p.m. 7:22 p.m., our star has arrived. I hope he smiled for the camera. The PI will be parked somewhere with a view of the place. I'm looking forward to seeing the photos and video. 7:32 p.m., they're in the sitting room, eating by the sounds of the occasional clanking. TV is off, I can hear their conversation really clearly. Boring stuff so far. Talking about their days at work and different people they work with. From here on, I'll only report anything interesting, but this is weird. It's like they're a married couple having boring everyday conversation. They haven't seen each other for a month, but it's so routine and regular, like they do this every night. 7:41 p.m., just felt the first churn in my stomach. She just asked him about his kid. Something about a problem he was having in school. He's in second class. That's a primary school grade here in Ireland. It means the child is between 7 and 9 years old, most likely turning 8 this year. If she's so concerned, why is she wrecking this poor kid's family? There isn't the slightest sense of self-awareness there. I've given a lot of thought to the child involved in this and whether it would be best not to tell the wife. Some people would say it's not their place to get involved. The way I see it is what happens to the AP's family is his wife's business, and she only has the right to decide. It's not my place to withhold the info. She needs to make a decision. 7:54 p.m., I just heard the curtains close. They make a distinctive noise when running along the metal rail. I wonder if being open helped the PI or if there's some rule against taking pictures through windows that would prevent them taking the opportunity. We didn't discuss window snooping, but I suspect they're restricted to filming them while they're in a public setting and can't reasonably expect privacy. 7:58 p.m., TV is on in the sitting room, but a door opened and closed. 8 p.m., bedroom action. Actually, it's just her. I guess he's the one watching TV. She has a towel, so I guess she's about to have a shower in the ensuite. Sorry folks, false alarm. I missed the whole I'm going for a shower conversation, so I guess I'm not picking up everything. She must have communicated it quietly. 8:24, drying/straightening/brushing her hair. I just checked the audio again. TV sound went off at 8:14 p.m. He's talking on the phone to his wife while my wife is upstairs preparing to be defiled by him. Telling her how much he loves her and he misses her and how he wishes he didn't have to travel. He ended it telling her he was stepping out for dinner and that he'd call her tomorrow. 8:35 p.m., here comes the sexy lingerie. Stockings, lacy underwear. Little black dress to go with it. I haven't seen that one before. It must be new. If I know my wife, she will make him shower too. 8:44 p.m., she left the bedroom. She spent 45 minutes getting ready for him while he watched my TV and lied to his wife. Now I have them on the VR. He just told her she looks so fucking hot and I'm pretty sure he slapped her arse. She replied with, sure, now it's your turn to get sorted for me. 8:49 p.m., I just saw his gross arse. He's in the shower. 8:55 p.m., my wife just pulled out the bottom drawer of a chest of drawers. I mean, she completely removed it and then pulled out a box that was hidden underneath. The box is on the bed now, but I can make out the contents. Yeah, you guessed right, it's full of sex toys. She has fucking sex toys hidden in the house for this jerk. We've never used them. She always told me she doesn't like toys. I'm going to call her. I want to see what lies she will spin talking to her husband while she is sitting next to a box full of sex toys on our bed with her lover in the shower. 9:02 p.m., just off the phone with her. Lying through her fucking teeth. Told me she was turning in early because she didn't sleep well last night because I wasn't there with her. Trying to deflect by making me feel bad for having to travel. Out of everything I've seen so far, that hit me the hardest. I'm not detecting the slightest bit of guilt or remorse from either of them. Expert liars. 9:04 p.m., he's out of the shower and they're not wasting any time. He's completely naked, she is still dressed. They're standing beside the bed and kissing. He has his hands all over her. I feel pretty nauseous. 9:10 p.m., she has asked him to put the drawer back in for her because it's too heavy for her. Way to kill the mood, huh? She spread some towels out across the bed while he was putting the drawer back. She's laying down on the bed now, on top of the towels. I guess she doesn't want to have to clean up the mess. I hope she changes the sheets before I get back. It will be interesting to see how well she hides the evidence. Will she wash those towels and put them back where they were so I don't see she used half a dozen towels in 2 days? 9:13, she told him to come over here and finish what you started. It really broke my heart to hear that. Yeah, that was hard to hear. Then he got into bed with her. They're kissing in bed. 9:16 p.m., it's getting handsy now. She has him in her hand and he has his hand inside her underwear. Heavy breathing. 9:21, she just removed her underwear, hiked up the dress and demanded cunnilingus. She ordered it using a word that would likely get me banned. He is complying. Nauseated face. 9:27 p.m., she just said it was his turn now. She took off her dress and bra and fiddled with something from the box for a bit, maybe applying lube, but it's hard to tell. My view was obscured. 9:28 p.m., okay, this is a new one for me. Remember how I mentioned she said she doesn't like toys and I was surprised to see a box of toys? Well, those toys aren't for her. He is on all fours on the bed and she is underneath him with her head oriented for fellatio. Not 69, she's oriented the opposite way. She is doing that while simultaneously penetrating him. Face vomiting. I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling right now. Disgust. Anger. Jealousy. This is next level betrayal. She's really willing to degrade herself with him. My other thoughts are more practical. Is she going to wash that thing in our dishwasher? Are the towels there so she doesn't have to change the sheets? How many times have I slept in a bed covered in traces of this man's arse contents? 9:35 p.m., after a couple of minutes of that, she declared he was hard enough to fuck her now and that he'd better fuck her hard this time. There is no sign of any protection being used so far. I guess I have HPV. Or worse. They repositioned. She's on her back with her ankles over his shoulders. There's no condom. They started slowly. Like moaning. Then he started grunting loudly and pounding her. He finished inside her. FFS. He said something inaudible to her. She replied by saying, "Ah sure, that's on me for getting you all riled up." He said he'll make it up to her later. I'm going to take a moment. 10:30 p.m., since my last update, they were lying in bed holding each other for a few minutes. He got up for another shower. Probably to wash the lube out of his arse. She seemed frustrated and finished herself off with one of the toys while he was showering. She doesn't like toys, but I guess they're still a next best thing if your man can't perform. She looked like she was just getting warmed up when he finished. Now they're lying in bed together. Not talking. They had turned the lights out when he got out of the shower, so I see them in infrared now. I don't think I can stomach round 2 tonight, so I'm going to leave you with some of my own thoughts. If there's a round 2, I'll watch it back when I review the footage after I land back in Dublin tomorrow. A few of my questions have been answered here. They risk my health by not using protection. They risk pregnancy, she's on the pill, but that's not 100% effective. They risk getting caught by leaving a box of evidence in the room. I'll know tomorrow if she cleans up afterwards. I'm thrown a bit by how routine it all is. I was expecting more affair-like behavior. Like being genuinely excited to see each other after a month apart and not being able to keep their hands off each other. In some ways that might have softened the blow, because I could attribute much of it to affair fog. The experience of being with someone different. The forbidden nature of the affair and the risk making it exciting difficult to resist. But what I've witnessed was a routine, mundane relationship. Like they were a married couple going through the daily motions. It's like she's living a double life with a second, albeit part-time, husband. I don't know if she's his only bit on the side. I could be infected with anything. It's so damn selfish and disrespectful. I'm devastated by what I just saw, but I'm glad I saw it. I'm going to harness this anger and pain and use it to create a nice stone wall for tomorrow's confrontation. Now I get to control the narrative. Okay, shutting down for the night. I have a big day ahead of me tomorrow. Post-edit June 3rd, 2025, some people are inquiring about my welfare. I just wanted to say I'm okay. Yesterday was a long day, and now I'm back at work. I'll publish an update over the weekend. Alright, Let's just start where I left off. Tuesday night. Sorry if it got a bit graphic. The whole time, I was holding my stomach but simultaneously thinking, I want her and him to see this account one day. I want them to know what I saw. Not some abstract concept of an affair. So much is lost in abstraction. No, I saw you, and I know the specific details of what you did. I might have stopped typing, but I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there in disbelief, watching them lying next to each other in my bed. They went at it again in the early hours of the morning. No toys this time. I've been grieving a dead person, the person I thought I married. A person who might have never existed. That's how I feel. She's gone, and I have to put that grief aside to deal with the funeral. What did I learn that night? I know from the AP's phone call that he's not in an open marriage and that they don't use protection. I learned that they act like a married couple together. This is routine for them. Throughout all of the audio, my name wasn't mentioned once. I wonder if they had an agreement not to mention their spouses in each other's presence. It was like I didn't exist. Anyway, I slept for maybe an hour on the flight home. I went straight to the PI's office. They had pictures and video of him arriving and leaving on Monday night, arriving on Tuesday night, and leaving on Wednesday morning. They had a spreadsheet detailing an account of everything they saw. They could see them through the window for the period that the curtain was open. They said they were kissing on the sofa after eating. That makes sense. They went quiet, and I didn't hear her say she was going to have a shower. She was probably sitting really close to him and not speaking loud enough for the VAR to catch it. I got home to an empty house around lunchtime. There were 7 towels in the clothes bin. She didn't even try to hide them. The bed sheets were not washed. They were still on the bed. Absolutely vile. The first thing I did was get our suitcases out of the shed. I packed one for me and one for her. I put them in the sitting room. I took the box of sex toys and put them in a nearby room. I spent the day preparing my list of questions and practicing my breathing, the thing that was going to allow me to remain angry but controlled. I charged the VAR and the camera. I put the VAR back where it was in the fireplace and the cam in an inconspicuous corner of the room. She got home a little after 6:30 p.m., saw the suitcases, and asked me if I was going somewhere. I said, "That depends on you. Sit down. We have to talk." I told her I knew about the affair with AP. She tried to deny it. I told her not to bullshit me. I know a lot more than she thinks. A lot more. She tried to gaslight me, told me I was acting crazy and had trust issues. I left the room and came back with the box. I threw it on the ground, and the sex toys went everywhere. She claimed they were hers and that she was too embarrassed to admit to me that she needed them. I told her she needed to change tactics because her bullshitting was going to get her nowhere, and her gaslighting wasn't going to work this time. She started to cry. That's when I realized I felt nothing. The way I felt about her was the same way I feel about a sci-fi character that is under the influence of an alien parasite. It looks like the person I know, but it's not the same person. 3 weeks ago, her tears would have stirred up all sorts of emotions in me, making me want to do anything for her to feel better, but not now. I asked if she wanted a divorce. She insisted she didn't. She said AP was just a side project and that it was me she wanted to be with. That she loved me. She asked what she had to do to make it up to me. Now it was time for infidelity baseball. I didn't use that term. Not sure what Americans think of a phrase like that, but here, it's a bit cringe. I just told her the lies had to stop. I was going to ask her a series of questions. I already knew the answers to a large proportion of them, but there were some I didn't know. If I caught her in 3 lies, I was going to pick up that suitcase, leave, and she would never see me again. I said if she wanted me to stay, that could only happen if I had full disclosure of the affair. That was the only way to repair the trust in our relationship. You tell me everything. She agreed by nodding, but she was sobbing. I asked if she was having sex with him or if it was just an emotional affair. She admitted to sex. I asked if they had sex in our house and in our bed. She tried to claim they didn't, that they went to a hotel. I said, "That's your first lie. I know you meet him here, and I know you fuck him in my bed. 2 more, and we're done." I asked when was the last time she had sex with him. She admitted it was that morning. I asked if they had sex the night before as well. She admitted they had. I asked how often she met him for sex. She said only while I was away, once a month unless she was on her period. I asked if she met him casually under any other circumstances, such as for lunch while at work. She said no. When did this affair start? She told me she knew him before we met. He was someone she had a crush on in college but never acted upon. Then, when she met him at one of my work Christmas parties, they hit it off. She said the interaction was flirtatious and felt inappropriate, which was why she never told me she had known him before. He found her on LinkedIn shortly after that and started messaging her. This was 7 years ago. I asked why she was hiding sex toys in the house. She claimed she used them when I wasn't around and was too embarrassed to tell me. I told her that was her second lie, and if she lied again, would not be responding, I'd just leave and put myself on the next flight. At this stage, I felt I had to give her something so she'd realize the extent of what I already knew. So I told her her sissy affair partner liked to be penetrated with sex toys and that I knew she did that to him. She asked how I could possibly know that. My turn to lie. I told her I was talking to his wife. The look on her face at this moment was absolutely priceless. She looked like a stunned mullet as she absorbed the gravity of what I was saying. His wife knows about the affair too. Little does she know, it was around this time the PI knocked on the AP's door to give his wife the evidence. So, she either does know or will soon at this point. Man, she was pale, and being Irish, she's kind of starting at a low base. I just knew her stomach dropped at that point. I told her I meant it. I would be on the next one-way flight to Australia at any cost if she lied to me one more time.